get started. We are back. Welcome to Talking Ball with Scotty and Sergio. Whether you're listening on Spotify, watching on YouTube, wherever you are in the world, thank you very much for joining us. We've also been having a break like the NBA, but it's time to get started again. For anybody that hasn't seen our social media and is wondering why I look so different, I've shaved my beard. I am now Moby/the Eggman. I'm regrowing it till the end of the season to raise money for the Indigenous Basketball League in Australia. The link will be in the info below, but let's say hello to my partner in crime, the Chilean man of mystery, Sergio. How are you, brother?
G'day, mate. How are you? I'm great. I'm loving Chile
good.
And happy about talking basketball again. It's been a while.
We are back. Usually I think it's like a 2-week break or something. It's only, I think, 3 days after the All-Star game, so we're back pretty quick when the season starts again. But mate, I'm well. I'm very keen to watch some basketball. I'm just watching the Dallas Mavericks versus the Spurs. I've just paused the game while we do this podcast, but mate, I'm good. I played golf yesterday. I won the comp. Second comp I've won in 3 weeks.
Wait, by the way, congrats on that. That's fucking amazing. That's so great.
Thank you very much. My golf game somehow has just started turning around after all these years and got my handicap down to 9.7, 9.8, so just under 10 now. But as usual, who gives a shit about golf? We're here to talk some basketball. On today's pod, we are going to discuss all the results and fun from the All-Star night, including Steph and Dame going bonkers from 3, the big man battle and the skills challenge, Giannis's perfect night, plus we break down Blake Griffin going to the Nets and the Spurs sitting LaMarcus Aldridge. But let's get right into All-Star night, Serge. The night kicked off with the skills challenge, and this is always a funny one to me. The last 2 participants in the final were Domantas Sabonis and Nikola Vucevic. Luka didn't take his tracksuit pants off till 30 seconds before it started, and CP3 missed an absolute sitter of a layup. Sabonis won. He was in the final 2nd year in a row. But it seems to me like the big men seem to care more about this skills challenge than the little guys. Do you agree, Serge?
Oh, it's because they're the ones that are supposed to be more challenged with like touch and all that stuff. So I feel they want to make a bigger statement with their, their talent. I think that it's a bit of a joke. I wouldn't continue doing it. I was telling you earlier, they should have a horse competition.
Yeah, there needs to be a change to the skills challenge because dribbling in and out of cones slowly, making a pass, a layup, and a shot, it's just boring, man. Like it's
the dullest competition you could ever see a basketball player do.
It's like I missed the event where they used to have the shooting all-stars where you have to hit shots from different areas on the court. Then you may have to hit a half-court shot. A half-court shot will be more interesting than the layup. Like, man, and like the layup's the easiest thing in basketball, and Chris Paul missed the layup. I was sitting there, I was like, I had to shake my head.
Like if you look at like the big guys, they come back, they dribble all the way, they do the layup, they come back, and they shoot 3-pointers. And basically what Sabonis did, very smart, he was aiming at Vucevic's shot to have it not go in. He struck it like twice or like close to it, and then he shoots when there's an in-between moment. So it's not really talent. It's more like logistics.
That's like an old 21 like trick where as soon as you see their rainbow shot go up, you keep it in nice and low so you can hit the bottom of their ball and clean it in. It's that's a skill within itself.
100%. It's got to get changed.
Yeah, do something different.
Can we agree on that?
Yeah, 100%. We'll see what other people think, but it's just I watched it because it's part of the All-Star day or night, but it was boring as shit, man. I was just sitting there.
You ever remember that old commercial? I don't know if it aired in Australia, but there's an old commercial from McDonald's where I don't know if Larry Bird shows up with a Big Mac or Michael Jordan shows up with a Big Mac, and he sits on the bench, and one of them goes, "Is that a Big Mac? I'll play you for it." And they start playing horse. That's the best thing ever. Imagine all your stars from the NBA playing horse.
Yeah, but put a solid prize in or something. Maybe not a Big Mac, but like have a prize in there for these guys, like they did for the All-Star game. Whoever wins, money goes to their charity. Like so, they actually really want to win. But well, okay, it's a skills challenge. Let's move on to the 3-point contest. Now, I have to say, I look forward to this more than anything every year. Jaylen Brown, Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell, they were all knocked out in the first round, which left Stephen Curry, Mike Conley, and Jason Tatum in the final. Conley got to 27 in the final, but Steph Curry sank his last 2 shots. One was the special ball. It's worth 2 points. Well, he won by 1 point. Incredible, effortless. I'm running out of adjectives to describe how good Steph Curry's shooting is, Serge. It is otherworldly.
I know we call Giannis the freak, but Steph Curry's the actual freak.
100%.
Like who shoots with that accuracy? And if you saw him in the first few rounds, I think he scored 31 in the first round or something like that.
Yeah.
Something crazy. Everyone's like, oh, he's got to score 30. And they were joking. And he just drops 31. And the green balls, the ones that are from 35 feet, I think.
Yep.
No problem. Like he's thinking those like easier than everything else. The guy's not human.
His last rack in both the first round and the final, the ball was barely hitting, like it was barely tickling the twine. It was barely hitting the net. My girlfriend was watching with me and she thought that he was missing. And I'm like, no, that's so pure that you can't even see it go in because it's not even hitting on an angle. It's going straight down.
I'm going to side with her too, because when I was watching it here in Chile, I could see it and I was like, oh, he missed 2 in a row. And then we were like, the points kept accumulating. I was like, no, he's not missing.
Man, and props up to Mike Conley as well. He was obviously a late entry into the All-Star game because Devin Booker, and they threw him into the 3-point contest. And man, he had a red hot crack. He nearly won.
And also shout outs to him. I mean, I'm happy he got his All-Star game because, he's been a great player, sliding under the radar, and he got paid really well, and everyone's knocked him for years for that. But he's been such a good player, such a professional athlete, and an amazing 3-point shooter.
Man, it's always been tough for him to make the All-Star game being out in the West, and we know how many good guards there have always been in the West. But he was on that Memphis team that made, I think, 2 Western Conference finals when they were killing it with Marc Gasol, Mike Conley, and Zebo, Tony Allen. The old what was the name they had for that Memphis team? The Grit and Grind. But I'm so glad he got in at least 1 year. But the disappointing thing for me was Dame Lillard, Dame time should have been in the 3-point contest.
Yeah.
Because
if there was a contest from shooting from half court, it'd be a great thing to watch between him and Steph Curry.
We're going to get into that after we talk about the dunk contest. But yeah, that was insane. But at halftime this year, we had the dunk contest, and it was a weird one. And Anthony Simons won with a dunk where he nearly kissed the rim. Obi Toppin came second. He had a dunk where he jumped over Julius Randle and his dad, who's nicknamed Dunker's Delight. But Cassius Stanley got robbed a little bit. His first dunk, he put the ball through his legs and smashed it home with his left. And a couple of the judges gave him an 8. Man, that's a pretty crazy dunk, like to put it through your legs. I think we've been spoiled by Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, a few of these guys doing things so easily that we have to change. So
that's the thing with the NBA right now. They really have to be careful with this contest because obviously we did have Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon a couple years back to back, and then Aaron Gordon lost to Derek Jones Jr., which is an amazing dunker. Like, I don't know if anyone has bigger airtime than him. So we've had like 3 or 4 years where it's been insane. So my opinion is that there has to be, just like there's all-star voting, there has to be a vote for who should be in the dunk contest, and players should react and compete if they're elected, because it seems like no one wants to do it. And I'm going to go in and say, who started this? LeBron James.
Yeah. It really
Why
true.
not? Why did he never competed in the All-Star, in the dunk contest?
There are very few guys that go in the dunk contest that are like above average role players, it seems, anymore. Like, they're young guys. I love Derek Jones Jr., but he's a role player and has been his whole career so far. Airplane mode, what best nickname. Some of the dunks that he's done, some of the thrunks where he throws them in, doesn't even dunk them. But they've got to do something, because we used to have guys want to go in it. Vince Carter, that's the one that will just never, ever leave my brain. And he was I'm not sure if he was an all-star when he was dunking, but he was already a very good player.
Yeah. And then you had Tracy McGrady. You kept having, and everyone wanted to do it because it was like pretty much promoting their brand, be it sneakers, whatever you are. And now everyone's scared of it. Why is Zion not doing it? And he also, what pisses me off about Zion, sorry to say it, a few days before, interviewed on ESPN. And they're like, are you going to do it? And he's like, I'm not sure yet. But he was kind of being coy, like he was going to do it. Just do it. Or don't even like tread us along.
Yeah, as disappointed as I was not having Dame a three-point shooter, I was more disappointed not having Zion in the slam dunk contest, because I wanted to see him just like, he dunks with such like ferocity. It's crazy. Maybe they should have like, you know, those you go to a carnival, or we don't really have carnivals here, whatever they are, like a show, and they have the hammer that you can hit and it tells you how hard you hit it, or one of those punching gloves. Maybe they should have a meter on how hard you dunked it. As long as guys aren't injuring themselves, let's see the power that you put into these dunks.
And they should also have a meter of like the vertical, because that's also fun. And why would Anthony Edwards not do the dunk contest? I'm like, what else do you have going on, buddy?
Yeah, 100%, man. Exactly. And Anthony Simons, man, props up to him. The dude can jump. He got a ball off 11 feet to dunk it. It wasn't the cleanest dunk, but...
And he's 6'3".
Yeah, but his one where he nearly kissed the rim was pretty cool. If he had kissed the rim, though, that would have been something different. I've never seen that before, but it's like he got there and he goes, shit, I'm going to have to throw the ball down, and I'm probably going to smack my face as I throw the ball down. So I'm just going to pull out and blow a kiss once I'm on the ground. But
you know what we like to say in the U.S.? Close, but no cigar.
Yeah, close, but not close enough, man. Like these are... Yeah, I think we both agree something needs to happen to fix the All-Star, the skills challenge. But the dunk contest was the showpiece of the All-Star game, or at least it used to be. And now no one cares, man. No one cares.
Yeah.
You have Magic Johnson going like, something needs to change. Like this is, it's not working. It's not working, Serge.
I agree.
Then there was the game. Unfortunately, no Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid. Because of contact tracing, the barber they went to in Philadelphia got COVID. So they both weren't allowed to leave. They had to miss this game. But for Team Durant, who didn't play, I don't think Embiid would have made a huge difference. Team LeBron won all three quarters. And the final score. Can we stop
first and talk about, like, why are they going to bars if they're going to the All-Star game? And no one's really criticized that. But
they're barber. Did you say bars or barber?
Oh, barber?
They're barber.
Oh, I thought you said bar.
Sorry, let me say it in an American accent. They're barber.
There you go. Thank you. Thank
you. In Australia, I sound like a sheep. Baba. And for you guys, are barber. They both caught COVID from their barber. I don't know where that accent's from. But I don't think it would have made much of a difference. LeBron's team had two of the best shooters in the league, maybe of all time, and they won every quarter and the final score chase. Steph and Dame were hitting three-pointers from everywhere. Dame hit one from the opposite side of halfway, and Steph was turning around, tapping his arm, because he knew it was going in. He knew. Insane.
Yeah, to me, that was the highlight of the weekend, watching those guys go at it in, a friendly manner, competitive still, like whatever you could do, I can do better, as Jalen Rose said. That was beautiful to watch. For me, it was all time. From 45 feet, from half court, 35 like nothing. You don't see that.
That used to be called chucking up a shot. Now it's taking a three. That's what it is now. The way these guys, especially those two, have just been able to master shots from 40 to 50 feet is like, this is why Shaq and stuff, they get annoyed with what they see these days, because no one wants to feed the paint. But hey, if you can hit a three-pointer from like 40 feet, your team's still on defense, even if you miss.
Yeah, I read a great article from ESPN today about that whole debacle, because the thing with the three-point, the other day they shot between two teams 96 three-pointers in one game.
Was that in the All-Star game or a regular season?
No. Yeah, regular season. 96 three-pointers. So it's changing the game to the point where it's like just launching missiles all day. No one wants to shoot a 2-pointer. Like, what's the point? So it's really changing the game, and there has to be. It's almost, do you move the 3-point line back again?
That's what they keep talking about. Oh, we can talk about that another time. But if you're efficient in the lane and you're getting dunks as well, there's no point to stop doing that. The Greek Freak stole the show of All-Star Night. Giannis was perfect from the field, going 16 from 16, including 3 from 3 from deep. Best thing was, 2 of them he banked in, and he definitely wasn't trying to bank them in. I think his new nickname should be Giannis Bankanakupo. Serge, how impressed were you with Giannis? Giannis was like, they had him mic'd up. He was hilarious all game. He was dunking, shooting, doing everything.
Mate, all I have to tell you is that on any street game here, if you hit one of those, you got to call it. You got to call glass, or else it doesn't count.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not
Giannis
sure.
was just laughing his way.
Man, he loved
16 out of 16.
16 out of 16. The funny thing was, obviously, he didn't miss a shot. So after about 8 or 9 shots, especially when he's going for 3-pointers, Reggie Miller and C. Webb were like screaming, "Don't shoot! Don't shoot!" He kept shooting, kept banking, and yeah, the bank was open on Sunday for Giannis, man. That was insane.
It was really good. I mean, you've never seen a guy with that level of efficiency in an All-Star game. And he kind of stole the game away from Steph Curry, because Steph Curry could have been easily the MVP. But when you have a guy shoot 16 for 16, it's over. He's the MVP.
I think Chris Paul had something like 16 or 18 assists in this game as well. And Chris Paul had a dunk from a Steph Curry alley-oop, and Steph Curry had a dunk from a Chris Paul alley-oop. I've never seen Chris Paul dunk the ball before, ever.
Both of those guys can hardly dunk. The funniest thing, if any of you out there want to watch Steph Curry missing dunks. It's hilarious.
He usually finds the funny side of it too, I'm pretty sure, when he misses a dunk. Klay Thompson is the one who usually lets him know that he missed the dunk. But all in all, Serge, it was a weird All-Star weekend night. Wasn't a big fan of the skills challenge. I don't think either of us were. The dunk contest needs to change. Steph Curry stole the show at the 3-point shootout. I was disappointed Zach LaVine didn't really get going, but the All-Star game, that saved it. Wasn't competitive.
Yeah,
great
and
individual
overall,
skill.
We were a little bit unamused by the whole weekend, but to be positive, I think, and we had this discussion weeks before, it's better that we had it than if we didn't have it. So I'm happy it went through, and we had a few casualties with Embiid and Simmons, but it wasn't really a big issue COVID-wise, and the fans do enjoy it, and it's important for the league.
Exactly. All the players are rested. Teams are starting to get sorted for their push to the end of the season. Basketball is back. The big news, though, after the All-Star break or through the break was Blake Griffin got bought out by the Pistons. We all saw that coming. And they were tossing up where he was going. And he is a Brooklyn Net. I just want to, before we talk about what he offers and how the rich get richer, I just want to give you an idea of a possible closing lineup for the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant, and Joe Harris. How do you rate that closing lineup? Not a lot of defense, but shooting everywhere, passing.
That's insane. You can't have a better closing line. And also, it sounds kind of like the Redeem Team or the 2012 Dream Team. It's crazy. All those players have, except Joe Harris, but yeah.
So what do you think Blake Griffin's role, or is he going to be is he going to score a lot of points? What's he going to do for this Nets team?
As I mentioned a few podcasts before, I think he's a really tough guy. He's an enforcer. He's a guy who can, he brings like the grit to the team in a certain factor. It's yet to be seen how he's going to evolve after the injury. He hasn't been himself. He's not as athletic as before.
He hasn't had a dunk. He hasn't had a dunk in 2 seasons. Like in 60-something games or something in 2 seasons. He hasn't had a dunk. And I saw this stat the other day. Out of the 500 qualifying guys who have played in the NBA. I think 400 of them have had dunks in that time. So like, it's get up, Blake, get up.
Yeah, but he's been shooting better now.
See, I don't think I think Blake Griffin now, especially, his defense is pretty atrocious. But the one thing that he really started to work on in his last couple of years at the Clippers, I think there was one year when he was in the top 10 MVP voting. He's a really good passer. So I think they can throw the ball in the paint to him and let him work a little bit with his back to the basket because he's got so many options. When that team that I mentioned with Durant, Harris, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, all of those guys are well above average shooters. So you can maybe put him in the paint as a small ball five and let him work from there. But I don't think they're going to need a lot from him. He'll come off the bench, help them out when they need. But the playoffs, I think, where Blake Griffin is going to come in handy.
Yeah, and his hunger too. You know, he's a guy who's kind of at the end of his. Well, he's not that old. Really, he's 31.
Yeah,
he just suffered a bit of injuries, but he's a guy who has that hunger. He wants that chip. He wants that ring, and that's something that they need. You know, they have a lot of players who are inexperienced, and Blake Griffin, granted, he's been to one conference final, I think, but he has experience in the playoffs, and he has that hunger. I think it's a great situation.
Talking about guys who have a hunger to win, to finish up today, LaMarcus Aldridge has been told by the Spurs that he's going to be sitting out while they try to facilitate a trade to another team, probably one competing for a championship. I think it's pretty good by the Spurs. I think it's time for LaMarcus Aldridge to go. He's still got a few years left in the tank, and hopefully the Brooklyn Nets aren't going to go get him too, but I thought he would have been a bit better a fit at Brooklyn, to be honest. Still a solid defender, great post-up game, and great mid-range shooter. I can see him going to a team like the Lakers or maybe a Philly.
Lakers sounds to me like it'd be the first option.
Yeah, maybe even a Clippers.
It kind of fits and it kind of makes sense.
It just depends what they're going to give up, but yeah, we'll see. I think he'll be gone in the next week or so. But
I mean, personally, I'd love to see him go back to the Blazers. I think he was always a fit. He got traded because basically Lillard was too young at that point, McCollum, and they were trying to build a younger team.
Just after B. Roy got injured, just after B. Roy got injured.
As well, yeah. And he was in his prime, and he's not in his prime now, but he's still a veteran who can contribute and brings a lot to the locker room too.
Yeah. So that's going to be it from us today. We haven't caught up in a little bit. Guys, we'll be back in a couple of days. Not sure if it's going to be just before the weekend or after. Things are been a little bit hectic in both our lives at the moment. But I'm sure there's going to be some great games to talk about. There's going to be some trades definitely coming soon. Just remember to follow us on Facebook and Instagram to see how my beard progresses. It's already growing in 3 days. It's pretty much at Serge's level, which he's been growing for 2 weeks. Correct. Every day I'm posting on the story for Instagram or Facebook, the Insta's Talking with Scotty and Sergio. You'll see it grow a little bit further. So I think one of those like folders or stories there as well. That's going to continue so you can see the beard grow. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube, guys. We're on Spotify as well. Remember, we're trying to raise some money for the Indigenous Basketball League. That's what the beard's for. But until next time, thanks, guys. Serge, any final words?
Love us all the time and follow us as much as you can.
Beautiful. Peace, guys. Thank you. Play the music, Serge. Boom.